Stupid things. Oh, sodium. So, anyway. And again, I don't know if I apologized for my part one, I probably didn't, but sorry about this audio quality. I am recording on a phone. I don't really have a better way to get this. And my computer's not really good for things like Audacity, because it's kind of like one of those 1.0 gigahertz pieces of crap. So, this part, I'm just typing something real quick, because I don't want to forget it midway through talking. This is my part 2 of a woman's worth. I haven't watched part 1 since I'm going to send both of these as video responses. Go watch that, naturally. Just go watch it. And this part is mostly going to be about the status of women today and how to judge value. So, I've talked about this a little bit, but women today, well, I've already talked about status so much, but let's talk about a little bit more about portrayal. And not looking good. I mean, of course, you can get your strong females, your Arizas friendship booths 24/7. You can still get your Maka L Barnes and your Robertas from Black Lagoon and your Balalaikas. But for the most part, like if I made a top 10 list, I'm fairly certain it'd be of anime characters. Like, yeah, anime specifically, because I can't really say TV dramas because I don't watch TV dramas except for like Walking and Breaking Bad, but those are on the internet, so. But yeah, might as well relate this to anime. You can't think of a lot off the bat, because even when we were talking about this topic in class, that's usually when my brain's like kicking, like trying to bring up examples. Not a lot. And it's just like, so the archetypes in anime, it's just, so I think the first one you have is just like the moe, and that's just kind of like exceedingly low because they don't do anything. But if you're watching a moe anime, you're kind of not watching them for do anything. So it's a little bit of a weird thing right there. And I don't know how to put this, but it's usually the moe, then the tragic heroine who has to be bailed out by the man. See One Piece or most shonen manga as examples. And then there's the section, well, probably make it smaller, the smaller section of female anime characters who are strong, who people would say are very strong, or have very good stories to themselves. Although the problem with that is they're always children of adversity, and you kind of have to have adversity in that, but they're always the victim card. I've noticed in it. Let's take a look at Black Lagoon for a second. I go up to grab my DVD case, but nah. Starting with the main chick, Revy, like abusive father, abusive drunk father, gets the crap beat out of her by a policeman, and spoiler alert, raped. Okay, it's good. And then downward spiral from there. And by the way, she was also bailed out by a man. Surprise. Then you go to Balalaika. Yeah, it was Balalaika, and he was like, I don't think you can count her on this as much, but abandoned by the military and adversity her whole country, but she rebounded pretty strong. So, well, she rebounded, but because there's a trend you're gonna notice with these. And then Sawyer, the crazy chainsaw chick, had her throat ripped out via failing a quest. Roberta from Black Lagoon, Roberta from Roberta's Blood Trail, Black Lagoon OVA. That's like a special one for this case because the Lovelace father was blown up. Then, like, okay, starting with the backstory, she was also sort of betrayed by the government. Then what's her name? Lovelace father gets blown up. So man dies. Woman goes in crazy roaring rampage. Then has to get bailed out by Garcia. I'm just saying, like, if you look around, it's always the man. Like if you look around in portrayal with women, it's always the man who screws up. Female goes crazy, and they rarely pull themselves out of the pit. It's always the man who lends the hand. Rhymes. I got them rhymes, biatches. But it's always the man who lends the hand that brings him out of the pit. And I don't know. It's just like it just feels like such a like when you see it, you're not thinking about it. You're just thinking like, oh, how amazing that was. But the more and more you see it, just like looks like shown in anime. Like the more things like, oh, a man helped her again. And it's like you never really get to see the women helping themselves. Matter of fact, let me take a good quick look at my anime shelf. Yeah, next to nothing. I mean, you can argue like I have Soldier on my shelf, and like if you want to know what manga I have, and what I'm looking at, go watch my previous video, because like it hasn't changed much since then. Although I am getting some new manga, yay! But it hasn't really changed much since then. And the only one where I can see the female dragging herself out of the pit would be Maka from Soul Eater. And, well, she sort of dragged herself out of the pit, and she also drags Soul out of the pit, which I guess it's fine. But at the same time, you can't really relate to that because Soul Eater is all about partnership. I mean, it's been pretty maliciously, referenced that you cannot be alone in the Soul universe, else you will go batshit insane. See Justin Law. See Stein, see whatever, yeah. But you get my point. It's like what happens here, and either that or, as I said, the portrayal is bitchy via Skylar. The companions usually portrayed as misunderstanding, which leads to more just shit being piled on top of the main character's crap stack. See, Lori is a special case, honestly, because Lori was just a horrible person. Like he was insane. He tried to kill me. Like just talking, like we all wanted to smack her. Don't deny it. But yeah, it's like women's status will improve with time. Granted, we don't get taken over by, religious views entirely, because most Abrahamic religions, I want to say, Judaism, Islam, Islam's the religion, right? Because I always get that mixed up. It's not because I'm an ignorant American, although it may very well be, but I just get like it's like they sound a little like Islam, Muslim. I think it's the Islam sound they just get mixed up. Judaism, it all seems to have women be very, very subservient, and I guess you could argue that would be one way. But now to get to the part that's actually related to Mr. Dullkill Anime's point, and that is the worth of a woman, or just value in general to them. Just to sum it up, and being a philosophy class, and hopefully going on to major in this philosophy, How do you judge value? Don't look at me, because, you know, I don't know. It's like, how do you inherently tell what's value is? I guess would be the question, because value, I think people can look at value differently, because like value can be looked at a way that value can be looked at in the same way as what you're capable of doing. And if you say what you're capable of doing, if you define what value is, I think the answer can be, you know, low to high, because if what am I? But if you look at if you look at what value is in terms of what you can do, what you can't do, women can be ranked pretty low. I mean, think about it. They're not as physically strong as men on most occasions. And I don't want to. Then women are actually smarter than men, but men are better at certain things than others. Vice versa with women. You'll also learn about that in psychology if you ever take it, which I recommend you do. And women are just seen as, and it's just like I said in the part one, in a man-centric world where, you know, men have to be competitive in everything. Like we hold down the women, so if we can hold down the women, so that could also be a relative point. Like if you're looking at what you can do, but the system doesn't allow you to do much. Like, you can kind of also see it as the low class to high class in America. It's like in the low class, you're not really valued because you can't really do all that much because you're broke, and the system is not really built to allow you to move up very quickly, especially if you don't really have much of an education. But the other way of looking at it is, should we just value them for being human? And I think if it's like that, then the answer would be, well, medium, because, you know, you can have your shitty humans and you can have your normal humans, and it's like, so it's also what you can do. So to be as a flawed master, I cannot answer these questions for you, even though I'm the one who's attempting to answer these questions for you. So I don't expect you to answer these questions for you. Think about that for a second, actually. I cannot answer the question for you. Hope someone writes that down for me or something. But, so yeah, will we ever find the answer to this? How to judge value? Probably not, because it's also sort of a relative thing. Lots of things are, unfortunately. But it's all about finding an appropriate way to value, I'd assume. Honestly, I don't think we'll ever find the answer. But I think in the world, it's just going to be progressively getting better until to a part where it just gets less shit that people stop, less shitty to people stop complaining as much. Then something horrible is going to happen. It's just going to go up and down, because that's the way the world works. So that pretty much ends everything I had to talk about. But some ending comments again, amongst what you said, Mr. Dulkle and LMA, is about the ability of word strength and joking. Now, entirely unrelated subject. So if you're not interested, feel free to click off the video. If you can bother to click on the video, thanks. So, word strength and joking. So I think there's two ways of looking at this. This is like, let me get straight. So the first way of is, joking is not really joking is not really something to be taken serious. That's one way of looking at it, because joking is a way to make a world that's kind of this crappy world that's just kind of crappy, just a little bit better. Just a little bit, not by a lot, but just a little bit. And that's the first way of looking at it. The second way of looking at it, if you take psychology, again, take this goddamn psychology course, people. I'm telling you. But if you look at it the other way, jokes are pretty cruel things. Because like, I can't remember who said this. Who said the quote? What was it? Oh, many truths are found in jest, which I find that quote, if you take it to heart, world's kind of a dark place, and it's also kind of true. Because, and again, going back to Freudian psychology, Freud believed that, not getting too heavy in psychology, but Freud believed that you had an ego, a superego, and an id. And the superego was kind of like your moral center, id was kind of like your base thoughts, all that stuff that just boils out of you, like, spontaneously. And he believed that when you joke, that was your id talking. So if you go like, oh, you're a slut. And it's like, and then you all laugh about it, like, you really shouldn't, because that's what he actually thinks of you. Something to take into consideration, but I'm sure some of you might even do, because his thing was you can't control your id at the slightest, like in the slightest. So it was your ego's job to control it, which is your conscious thoughts. And if your ego's not working properly, which it usually isn't, that's the thing. So joking, I don't know how you want to take it, but the point is, like, don't be too offended by jokes, but at the same time, take them with a grain of salt. Like, and think of it like this. If you spend your life wondering about what's politically correct to say, what's not politically correct to say. Well, I say politically as a metonymy, which is a general term. Malaka Box taught me that. What kind of life are you really going to have? Is it going to be all that entertaining? Because if you're ever afraid to make a dirty joke once in a while, or you're just worried about offending other people, which, if you're always worried about offending other people, you're not going to have a whole lot of fun in life. Can you do it without offending other people? Actually, that's a pretty good question. Because, people can always be offended by things, but on the other hand, like, when what you said about words, like saying nigger, bitch, things like that, words have strength. They do. But only as much strength as you give them, so, I mean, it's like, if you're not offended by the word nigger, then you're not offended by the word nigger. I mean, if you're offended by that, that's, perfectly alright, but don't get so wrapped up in things like that, good sir, because you're just, look, the way I see it is like you can be offended by that, but the way I see it is like, you're wasting your time. You're being angry for almost anger's sake by being offended by something. Because I mean, it goes back a lot to that you can't take an opinion, like, people cannot take an opinion for shit thing. Which I'm sure you can, but this is something that's sort of just but in this case, something sort of universal. I mean, like, yeah, you'll get those racist motherfuckers now again, but on the internet, half the time when people say the word nigger, or when black people say the word nigger, they don't mean a damn thing by it. And even if they're insulting you, it's just like, oh my god, I'm so insulted. Grr. Why you're making yourself almost unhappy in a way, just by being offended by things. So try and get rid of that, because my personal speaking, you don't have to follow me, because if you did follow me, I'd probably be a little bit more miffed at you for, blindly taking some person's opinion and not thinking about it by yourself. But, I kind of want to say do your thing, but I'm a philosopher and I'd be moving too close to relativism, so yeah, do your own thing, but think about it. Think about why you're doing it. And that's sort of your philosophical thing for today. So I've been talking for about 40 minutes now. I'm done. This will be uploaded in two parts, not just part 2. So tell me what you thought. Tell me about what you thought about my 5-page essay just blowing everyone else at the water. talk about relativism, how society treats women, status of women today, value, word strength, joking, all the stuff I mentioned here. I'm 40 minutes, so it's quite a bit. I talked quite a bit on multiple topics, actually. I kind of feel bad that it's not completely related to what Mr. Dulclinian was talking about, but goodbye, my friend. I'm going to go back to waiting for my Torico volumes to be shipped here, because I got 12, 13, 14, and 15 Zebra! Gourmet period. And I'm going to go back to killing monsters and Monster Hunter, because that's the closest thing we're going to get to something good toy related, besides the manga for a while now, so I'm going to do that. So, this has been some YouTuber, even though I already gave you my ending. So, also, I wanted it doesn't really look long, does it? Because I remember watching Rolling Cat and it was like, try to make your arms look longer, it kind of optical illusion. I'm like, no it doesn't, that's shonen bullshit. I'd love to do a review of something, but my voice is strained for today, so, goodbye. Don't make me talk this much again, Mr. Dullhood. Swear to God, you put up another good topic right after this, I will kill you.